Tonight, I want to share with you one experience that had been very instrumental to me in terms of how gracious has God been with me. And I want to share a thought from a great missionary and a great disciple of Christ, E. Stanley Jones, who said once in his book, The Way, which is a collection of devotion for 365 meditation for a devotional. And he said that loyalty to Christ is to be thought first, last, and always, for when supreme loyalty is fastened on him, Jesus, then there is a complete life fulfillment. Why I'm saying this tonight and I'm sharing this idea with you? There was an event last year, actually in July last year. I was expecting some changes in my ministry settings. I was expecting to be transferred to another church, or that the whole ministry to be moved to another location. But all of a sudden, things didn't come my way or as I was expecting. I found myself unemployed, out of active paid ministry. Ministry, pastoral ministry, is my calling to serve in the kingdom. I find ministry as the way God wants me to work for his kingdom. That means a lot to a disciple. And that's what I want to be the most, a disciple of Christ, obedient to him. So when this came to me that way, I asked, how do this event has been instrumental for me to see the grace of God working in my life for my own good? So I had to ask, if I want to do this for the kingdom of God, why this happened to me? Why at this moment? And among all these questions, I had to ask myself over and over, has God recalled, taken away his call from me? And after a lot of thoughts, I have found several things. I have found that first, God is faithful. That God will never let you be tempted or put in trial beyond what you can bear. That's what Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I also found found myself asking, what do I learn from this assertion and from Paul? God can turn a moment of trial into a blessing, into a growing opportunity for those who trust him. This event actually removed what I would say the carpet from beneath my feet. It put me out of my comfort zone. And in the midst of all this, I can say now that I've seen God providing and teaching me. I found this through reading 3 wonderful books that were not on my way. Number 1, Ministry at the Image of Christ. At the Image of God. Confessions of a Pastor. And finally, in a very miraculously fashion, The Way from Stanley Jones. As a result, I have seen still that the call is still there. I have seen that my commitment is stronger. So in the meantime, I see that this is a pruning time for me. It's a disciplining time. It is a reaffirmation of my ministry. God has not only been good, He has been gracious to me. This is what I wanted to share with you. And I thank you for being with me at this very special moment of my life. I want to hear from you all what you think about this. I want to ask you a couple questions. What did you like about this presentation? So short, but so meaningful to me. And why? What did you like and why? And what you didn't like? What will you remember tomorrow?
I like the illustration of the carpet being pulled, because I can think of times where it seemed like the proverbial rug was being yanked out from underneath me too. So that's probably an illustration that I would take forward with me into the next day.
Good.
Kind of a remembering of that.
There was one word you said, very small word that I heard you say, was you were pruned. And the good Lord prunes us, takes away the bad branches, and makes you stronger at all times.
I liked it's a little different, that you had a calling and then it was taken away. And I think people will really relate to that, because it's something we've all had or experienced at a different level. And I think that it will really touch or connect with people.
Good. You think my witness is believable?
Oh yeah, because, and the reason it becomes more believable is because so many times we may have started down a road and then been delayed and not really understood why there was a delay in getting what we thought we were supposed to be getting. So it's kind of that not yet time. So I think most people would, I think they would get that.
Yeah.
For a reason, were you at ease or comfortable listening to me in spite of my accent? My mumbling?
I was.
Yes.
Get my attention, because I want to hear everything you say. So, and I'm catching each word that you say.
Good.
Your accent to me did not hinder at all what you told us.
Is there anything that you will suggest or ask at this moment?
One thing I would have, in realizing it's very short, but maybe when your calling was taken from you, or how you felt personally, and maybe just,
I hurt.
Yeah, right.
I was hurt.
Right.
I was hurting, and like I said, I was asking why.
Right.
Is God recalling His call from me? But God has provided to me through these instruments, the 3 books, particularly that book on from Stanley Jones. I was out one day shopping in a secondhand store, and I always go to those books, old book section, and I found that book. I love Stanley Jones writings, and that version is the 1946 version of that book. And I've been eating, let's say it that way, every day out of it. And every day I find something through which God is acting graciously in my life and giving me strength, hope, and a reason to keep holding on what I am doing or want to do in my life. So thank you.
I will make one last comment, just so you know. I thought you were very comfortable in giving the talk, even though, again, it's a compressed time.
Very compressed. That made me very uncomfortable.
That's hard to do, but you came across as comfortable while you did it. You seemed at ease. even in that type of maybe a little bit of a rush mode. One suggestion for the preacher at this time might be, you had your hand in your pocket at one point, so you might just want to think about your hand placement because some people tend to, their eyes get drawn to wherever the hands are going. So that might just be something to think about in the future.
All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Have a blessed one.
Thank you.
Amen.